the 10th day of Christmas, Moose brings to me horror rapper Poltergeist O.D.
Welcome, Horror Hounds, to another installment of the 13 Horrifying Days of Christmas. I'm your host and gift giver, Moose. And the gift today is a gift of music. Not just any music, but horror music. What could be better than that? And to talk about that is a rapper who was featured in a movie we talked about earlier in the 13 days. From Carousel 3, please welcome Poltergeist OD.
What up?
So, how's life? Music's good.
Thanks, man. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty boring. I just go to work, come home, watch movies, write music.
Well, and, fill the listeners in. Like I mentioned to you beforehand, legitimately had no clue who you were until I was watching Carousel 3. And then, I'm just listening to that track just fucking hit. And I was like, who is this guy? So I'm looking it up. Finally I get, it's like, all right, it's Carousel by Poltergeist OD. All right, who is this? So I'm looking. Find your YouTube page. And then it's a 4-hour deep dive into this rabbit hole of horror-themed rap. And it was like, I've got to talk to this guy. And then you got a message 20 minutes later from me.
Hell
so,
yeah.
that's kind of the timeline of events.
I'm stoked about that because, I love the Carousel franchise. I love Steve Rudzinski. His movies are amazing. Check him out. Yeah, and my buddy Matt just kind of hit me up one day, and he's like, man, I love your music, and I got this buddy who makes movies. Maybe you can get a song in one of his movies because I've always been telling people, all my fans forever, that my main goal is to write horror rap about movies, featured as the credits. You remember Deep Blue Sea and Scary Movie and stuff when there was a rap during the credits about the movie?
Or even
I want to bring that back.
Man in the Mask, from Jason. I mean, there's themed horror music to the movie is always a good thing. It gives you something to latch onto outside of the movie.
Yeah. I don't know. I just miss it. And they only really did it in they did it a little bit in the early 90s and then stopped for a while. And then the early 2000s, they did it again for a bit. But they kind of stopped doing it. And I miss it. I miss it so much. And I love hip hop. I love horror movies. I'm just trying to combine the two things I like the most. I don't know.
And I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street doesn't have that same hit that it did back in the early 90s. Listening to a lot of your stuff, I think it has staying power because it falls more into I don't want to say standard hip hop, but more of that hip hop format. Nightmare on My Street, it's it is what Jazzy Jeff and Will Smith was putting out, but back early days before they changed their style.
That was one of the first horrorcore songs. Ghetto Boys had a horrorcore album, and then Will and Jazzy did fucking Nightmare on My Street, and that was the start of the genre that I love.
And you hear it all the time. I mean, hell, it's on my Halloween playlist every year. I listen to it. Oh
yeah, mine too.
But
I listen to it probably a little too much.
Right.
I knew every word when I was 10 years old.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's, and it'll always have that place in nostalgia and music history, but it doesn't hit the same.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think a lot of that's more just how much hip hop has changed and the music itself has changed.
It's become more widely expressive. Hip hop back then was one thing, right? And then it just as everybody got used to having it in their life, they were influenced by other things growing up, and it just kind of developed over time. Like anything, like
Oh yeah.
metal is not the same as it was in the 80s,
No.
not even close. But I think it's cool. I think that I love that there's so many different types of rap and different types of rappers now. Like, I don't know. I love horrorcore, but at the same time, I love like trap drug dealer type music
Mm-hmm.
too.
I say it's like at this point, any genre of music, you'll have something that fits any mood you're in. You know, it's not just like
for sure.
like you can go back again, late 80s, mid 90s. It's like, well, I might be in the mood for rap. I might be in the mood for metal. I might be now. It's okay. I might be in the mood for this subsection of X or the subsection of, you know, it's so broad now that, yeah, there's literally something for everyone, and it is amazing.
Yeah, you can get every mood out of one genre now.
Mm-hmm.
Like back in like the 80s, early 90s, metal was like thrash, death metal, and it was hard all the time. Now you have like progressive bands who do like folk music in between the heavy parts.
Yeah.
Even with rap, like there's like sad rap, angry rap, which would be me. And but yeah, like yeah, you don't have to switch genres depending on your mood now, which I think is really cool.
Oh yeah.
You just get more out of it now.
How long have you been working at your craft?
I think our first show as Obscene Division, the group I started with, I think our first show was like 2012, and I've only been rapping since like maybe 2010, 2011. So like quite a while now, but I'm old, so to me that's not a long time. I was more of a metalhead growing up. I was into like jazz and like weird, heavier, more complex styles of music. And then I moved to Alberta from Newfoundland. I'm Canadian, by the way, for anybody who didn't know that already. Yeah, I moved here and I met my buddies Matt and Nick, Razorwire and Nick Obscene, and my group Obscene Division currently. And they were already rapping, and we were just like getting drunk in their garage one night. I was like, all right, I'm gonna write a rap, and I wrote some like horrible murder type Brother Lynch type shit, and they were like, that was actually pretty cool for your first time. So I was like, well, this is pretty fun. I like doing this. So I just kept doing it, and like I was like, okay, show me rappers that are like that. So they showed me, you know, like 3-6 Mafia, like Wu-Tang Clan, who else? Yeah, like Brother Lynch Hung, Gmo Ski, like just harder type rappers. And I was like, okay, I really like this genre. So I just dove in head first, and now hip hop's just my life. It's weird.
Well, and like I said, I did a 4-hour just like YouTube was on my TV for 4 hours straight on your channel. When you sit down to write something about, say, Michael Myers, where do you start?
Just watch the movie, take notes. So like I'm actually hitting the studio tomorrow to record a Hellraiser song. So like what I did was I had to watch all the movies, even though we know there's some bad ones. let's not sugarcoat that. But yeah, like I just write down phrases, scenes that I like, just associative words. I'll even go on like a thesaurus and look up synonyms for things that they're doing. I don't know. It just becomes this like puzzle that I put together later. Like I don't look at a beat for it until after I've watched all the movies, taken all my notes, and I'll start writing bars and rhymes in like little pieces here and there, like what rhymes with suffering, you know? And just like write down like 50 words, try to come up with whatever I can that would associate with that movie. And then, yeah, it eventually becomes a song. And then I start looking for a beat after the song's basically written so that I can like work on it, take out syllables here and there and work on the flow. And yeah, it's like a puzzle to me. I know some guys like Razorwire in my group, he has to write sentence by sentence. Like he needs a beat first and just first sentence, second sentence. I can't do that.
I say, yeah, it's, and this goes back to, how people perceive music. Some people, when you're writing it, you have to hear the beat first. And then it's like, okay, I can put words to that. And others, it's, I want to get the words out first. And once the words are there, then yeah, like you said, you find the beat to go behind it and you make the words fit the beat. But you already, at that point, you know what message you're trying to get out. You know what story you're trying to tell. It's just, at what speed are you telling it?
Yeah. Like what cadence you're going to do. Like when I record a song, I try to match the energy of the movie. Like my Killer Clown song is more silly. Michael Myers is obviously more like serious and dark. What else did I do? Gremlins and like Mars Attacks, like those were like goofy and silly. But yeah, the Tall Man from Phantasm is more serious. Leatherface is more aggressive. Like I try to match my voice and my cadence, and like it's like playing a character. It's like acting. I'm not a good actor, but I mean, yeah, me alone in a studio with some guy.
You get a chance to live out some things.
Yeah.
So
it's fun.
What got you into horror in the first place?
Well, I grew up right next to some horror collectors, so I was pretty lucky to get into that world pretty early. So I think my dad sat me down and we watched It when I was like 6 years old. And then after that, I was like, okay, this is pretty sweet. So I went over to my neighbors and they showed me Jack Frost, Child's Play, Nightmare on Elm Street. And I was just like, this is awesome. So back then we had something called video stores for the younger listeners, where something called physical media,
it's like
in the form of VHS tapes.
It's like streaming, but you had to leave your house and go get it.
Yeah, it's like scrolling through an interface, except in real life. But yeah, I would just go and like stare at all the VHS covers. Like that's something that like I don't think people get to experience now, that I think would make a lot more like movie fans out of people, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that was, God, I remember many a Friday night just standing in Blockbuster looking for something to watch, and the cover art sold it. It's funny, never judge a book by its cover, but I'd sure as hell judge a movie by its cover.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like I remember like whenever I go hunting for a new movie or, order something online or whatever, it's always like the nostalgia that really gets me, because like all I remember is seeing them all together on a shelf. Certain ones stood out, right? So like Sleepaway Camp was one that stood out to me when I was a kid that I didn't watch till like way later in life. But it was that cover that got me to watch it, because I was like, man, that I remember seeing that at that video store, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So like it's almost like I was familiar with it before I'd seen it.
Yeah, I mean, it's with streaming and everything now, I mean, you still kind of get that, but not to the same experience, because it's just a picture on a screen. It's you can't pick it up, look at it, and like almost dissect it and just absorb the imagery. It's just, oh, that's another picture. Oh, that's another picture. Oh, that's another picture. And I think especially today, where there are so many great, like specifically horror movies coming out, whether it's independent or major, big budget productions, a lot get lost in this just scroll through society. And
in the algorithm.
It's such a disservice.
It is. And especially since like like I love small indie films. If you make films and you're watching this, hit me up with your movies. I'll watch them. I'll buy them. Like I love it. But it sucks. It sucks that they have to do what I do as a artist now, just punching up against the algorithm, and you have to do things that you don't want to do as an artist. Like I don't want to make TikToks. I don't want to take selfies. I don't know, man. I just want to rap and put out music, but like to be heard now, you can't just like hit the streets with tapes. You can't just like put up posters. you have to be on all the social media platforms talking about shit you don't want to talk about, like what's trending. I don't care what's trending. Why does that matter to me? But like it has to nowadays. And it like I feel like that takes away a part of the artist, like you're focusing time that you would have spent on your art on learning this algorithm because so many shitty people are doing it that they're getting ahead because they're better at marketing than you.
So that, as you were talking, you saw me laughing. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the irony of the parallels here. When I started this podcast back in 2019, talked with a good friend of mine about it and told him, what I was doing. And I told him, I was like, I have zero interest in graphic design. I have zero interest in making short videos, all this crap. I just want to focus on what we're doing right now, putting out a good product. Fast forward, the graphic design has to be on point. You have to be able to make the short reels for TikTok and Facebook just to get people to tune in. You have to do it. I was like, I don't want to do any of this shit.
Yeah, it sucks. I'd rather be watching a movie, taking notes and rapping. Like I'd rather be working on my craft. But here I am, like on some fucking Reddit thread reading about an algorithm I don't give a shit about. Like it just
to learn how to market better.
It sucks that that's the way it is, but that's just the way it is now.
Yeah.
So like you kind of have to like make that a part of your business. Like when I go on social media, like, yeah, I talk to a lot of my friends and fans and stuff like that, but a lot of it is like working. A lot of it is just looking up certain hashtags, talking to people who post about this and that. You're just networking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is great. And I do love doing it. And I've made so many good friends and fans over the years doing that. But I do wish I could hire somebody to do it.
Don't we all? It'd be so much simpler. So moving back to studio time, you said you're doing Hellraiser. Is there a franchise or character that you haven't done yet that you really want to tackle?
Yeah, a lot. I have a huge list. I take requests from people too. Like if you have one in mind, I'll write it down. Like anybody who wants to hear a song about a movie, I'll just write it down and start going. Like I was considering doing the Frightener, Leatherface, and Killer Clowns at one point, and I didn't know which one to start with, so I just like posted that online and I was like, pick which one you want me to do first, and they all voted Killer Clowns, like by a landslide.
That's because it's such a goofy ass movie. Everybody loves it,
Yeah.
And yeah, the thought of having like a horror rap about killer clowns, it's like, well, where can you go wrong? But
well, you could be a shitty rapper too, but
well, yeah.
I don't think I am. I'm sure people do.
Oh, everyone has opinions. And it's I think Candyman would be a fun one. Cause
that's on my list. A lot of people.
There's a lot to work with there.
Yeah.
Just hell, imagery alone, there's a lot to work with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the more gruesome a movie is too, the easier it is for me. Like Terrifier is one that a lot of people have been asking for, which it's on my list, but it's not like high on my list because I do want to hit like a lot of the classics first. Like I have a Nightmare on Elm Street one I'm trying to do. I have most of it written. I got to hit Jason. I don't know why I haven't done that yet, but I got to do that. And like a lot of people have been like, are you going to separate it by like the actors who played Jason, like Ari Lehman or, fucking. Anyway, I don't remember his name. Kane Hodder. Holy fuck. Maybe we should cut that.
I'll shorten it down.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think like I would rather take the character itself as like one being, because there's a lot of franchises where the character was played by different actors, but I don't really consider that at all. It's like just the character itself. That's who I am. Like I have to become that. Like what if Pinhead had to battle rap somebody?
Yeah.
what would he say? What would he do? You know, he would reference like a bunch of shit he's done because that's what rappers do.
Mm-hmm. Now, it would be interesting.
Except me, because I lie.
It would be interesting if you were to do like a rap specifically about, you know, young Jason and get Ari on the track.
Yeah, because he's in the band First Jason. That would be so cool.
You know, now something like that, you know, it wouldn't make sense to separate it out because then it's very specific. You know, this is why I did this.
Oh, yeah. See, I could do something like this is a good brainstorming session now. This isn't even a podcast. Yeah, like First Jason, and then like I could have one called like New Blood or something.
Yeah. You know, there's ways to do it, but I think if you're going to do it that way, there has to be a reason, not just, oh, I want to split it up because, you know, we did it for the different actors. Well, like you said, aside from Nightmare, just about everybody's had different actors at some point.
Yeah, like I did a Ghostface song. How many Ghostface were there?
Right. I think, and Upside, the genre has so much potential to just pull from that.
Yeah, like I'll never run out of inspiration. I'll never run out of horror movies. There's like 100 a year.
Yeah, it is. It's the gift that keeps giving, and that's. I mean, that's why I got into this podcast in the first place, is because I'm a fan of horror. I wanted to talk about horror with other, you know, like-minded individuals, and I wanted my own place to do it. And I was like, well, fuck it, I'm going to make my own, you know? And you find that the horror fans will, and I mean this in a good way, latch on to everything because we just want more. You know, and that's why, to bring this all the way back to the beginning, when, you know, I came across you, it's like, I've got to talk to him. You know, I've got to, you know, see who this guy is, what makes him tick. And, you know, for anybody who hasn't heard you, they need to check you out because it is definitely it's one hell of a ride.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you.
And I'm not the biggest rap fan in the world. If I find, like, as far as music goes, I find something I like it. I don't care what genre it's in. But
same. I listen, man, people are going to hate me for this, but I still listen to like Christmas music and country music. Like anything that sounds good is good.
Yeah. Good music is good music. And, you know, like I said at the beginning, it was just the way Carousel hit. It was just like, this is different. This is not what I was expecting for like an end credit song at all. You know, because normally it's either like a slower, you know, almost ballad type, or
like ambience.
Yeah, it's like an ambient sound or a almost like a rock music. It's rarely
rock is big in horror, which I like. I love metal and rock and stuff. Like that's what I grew up with.
You know, rarely is it rap, and it's also rare that it's good rap.
Yeah.
You know, because again, you come across bad music a lot. So when you find one that checks good music, good, you know, good rap, good horror rap, good rapper, you know, it checks all the boxes. It's like, that's someone to follow. Because I mean,
plus it helps if you enjoy the movie too.
Yeah.
Which is like, for a franchise like Carousel, I can't imagine somebody not liking it unless they're just like way too serious.
Yeah, so you'd have to be really stuffy to not like, because it's Carousel is so goofy, and Steve knows what he has. He made a goofy fucking movie, and I mean it's puntastic. It's everything you could want in an independent film, and Carousel knows what it is, and it's made 3 movies, and it doesn't get there with taking itself too seriously. And as a viewer, you shouldn't either.
I think you'll know what you're in for within like the first 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't lie to you.
So it is campy dialed up to 11. and I love it. I absolutely love it.
My buddy actually messaged me last night. He's like, "Man, I'm gonna watch Carousel," and like 5 minutes later, he's like, "They're fucking the unicorn. What the fuck?" he's like, "Where did you find this?"
In Magic Land.
Yeah.
So are you touring, or you just well, do you have any tours coming up, or you just staying localized right now?
Well, I mean, I do shows all over Alberta and like Saskatchewan and stuff, but like I haven't done much traveling. I did one in LA like way back in 2015, but I'm really trying to hit the States in 2024. I'm looking to hit Chicago area because like for some reason people there love me. I don't know what it is, but Chicago fucking loves horror and rap. Um, yeah, I'm trying to do like a bigger tour in 2024, but there's nothing like concrete just yet. I'm doing a festival in June called the Intersect Art and Music Festival in High Prairie, Alberta. Check it out. It's amazing. There's like, oh my God, I want to say 28 genres. It's
Holy
crazy.
shit.
It's got something for everyone. There's a hip hop showcase. There's lots of DJs, like all the subgenres of EDM, which I can't list those off right now. But there's like metal, rock, there's like comedy, anything you can imagine at a festival. Lots of artists, dancers. Oh my God. What are they called? Fire dancers?
Yeah.
People who dance with fire. That's what they call them. Man, my buddy's gonna hate me for that. But yeah, man, like anything you can imagine. It's a great festival, and I think anybody in the area should check it out. Yeah, other than that, there's nothing like set in stone for shows.
So before we wrap this up, just off the top of your head, favorite slasher character of all time?
Oh, favorite slasher. Dude, Bro Party Massacre 3.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So where can listeners follow you and keep up to date with upcoming tracks and listen to all the tracks you have out currently?
I'm on all streaming services under Poltergeist OD. That's Poltergeist space OD. The OD stands for Obscene Division. I'm on mostly Instagram and Slasher app as Poltergeist_OD. But anybody who's not familiar with the Slasher app, download it. It's like it's just social media for horror fans specifically. It's like Facebook for horror. It's amazing. It's a great community. Any dicks get kicked out right away. It's sweet. Check it out. Other than that, I'm not really that active on things. Like I'm on Twitter, Poltergeist_OD, but I kind of just like pop in, make a post, and leave. I don't spend a lot of time on Twitter.
Oh, that's the way to do it. Otherwise, you
and
get
like
a headache.
I have a TikTok, but I stopped using it. I don't know how to be cringe. I can't do it.
And listeners, those links will be in the episode description. And you can find me and other great podcasters over at electronicmediacollective.com or on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Moose Media Inc. Just look for the Moose. Poltergeist, this has been a blast.
Yeah, dude. Awesome. To have me on anytime, hit me up whenever.
Oh, 100%. And I definitely look forward to seeing what all you have coming out as your career progresses. And who knows, maybe you'll be in my neck of the woods at some point. So
where are you at?
I am in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay, cool.
Thank you again for coming on, and till next time, Horror Hounds, mash on.